Hey guys, this is Michael over at Argyle, and I'm going to be doing a little mix breakdown for y'all today. This track is called Doing Fine by Meredith Tilton, and I kind of wanted to showcase how to do a lot with not a lot. This is an acoustic song. It was given to me in acoustic, stripped down format, and our goal was to kind of keep it there, but make sure that we really did the thing justice. We got, during the day of tracking, we got acoustic, and then we did some bass and vocals and just one pass of electric guitar, and we couldn't find a place for really anything else. So I'll let y'all listen to it real fast, at least the first bit of it, and we'll kind of get down into it.
You watch the world move around you from the outside. You're looking and you're writing poetry from the quiet corners of your room. Too scared to let it leave, 'cause God forbid your friends understand you. What would you do? But you got it wrong, 'cause will sing along. You can't fall asleep without distracting what's inside your mind. Can't help but overthink the words you said along with their reply. Was it nice? But you'll be alright, 'cause I'm doing fine. Doing fine, doing fine. Doing fine. Doing fine. Doing fine.
I really love Meredith's voice. We had a lot of fun recording this. Got to throw around a lot of ideas, but at the end of the day, this is just really all it was. I think the foundation really of this was the acoustics. And this is sort of what we ended up with. Of course, I've got tracks that should be hidden in all of this, but I'm not going to try to, sugarcoat my process to make this look better for y'all as I go. This will be as much of a learning experience for me as maybe it is for you. Not necessarily out to teach anything. I'm just kind of excited to show y'all how I do things. But anyway, so the acoustic, sort of going for that left and right feel. A lot of references were like Casey Musgraves and a bunch of other indie artists where, we tried to do the Jason Isbell tape thing where it's like, okay, we just get her vocal and guitar, try to get those two performances. We initially went that route, but it wasn't cutting through. Her voice, it wasn't doing it justice with just how sweet and delicate her voice is to do them at the same time. So we ended up double tracking the guitars. And just really, it was 2-3 takes and we were out the door. I lined some things up. As you can see, there is some little things getting edited here and there, but that's just, the natural way of production. And if you're having to cut up your tracks to get them to sound the way you want, don't let anybody tell them you need to be doing it different. Obviously, if you can get, one takes down, like the bass, for example, I like to get, as close as we can in one take. And that was a lucky take, I guess, because it's, not too cut up, but everything else, like acoustics, especially when they had to be as tight as they needed to be for this song. So let's take a look at what we're doing here. Really, not a lot at all. The acoustic bus itself. Just some control, getting it out of the way of the bass, which you'll hear right here. bass is really only supposed to support the acoustic, really. I didn't need to do much through the acoustics. Tracked them on the Ear Trumpet Labs Edwina through just my 710 and called it a day. The electric guitar is having a lot of love, actually. A lot of love on the high end. I've got these two old beat-up Clark Technic Pultecs that I have refurbished. They've been modded, kind of done some stuff with the tubes. I bought a bunch of old tubes from an engineer buddy of mine out in Nashville. And for all you warm audio haters out there, I think you can do a lot if you buy gear on Marketplace or anyone out there who's just starting and you want to get this analog gear. Yeah, it is expensive and there's no two ways around it, but there is ways to save money doing it. Learn how to solder, learn how to work with tubes and how to replace them, which ones are, going to sound better. I've got some vintage Telefunken tubes in that CL1B right here that I'm about to break down the vocals. And you'd be surprised the difference it can make. And shout out to Warm Audio. They do some great stuff. I've got some of their preamps. I've got compressors. Really, if you're looking to get into the hardware game and enhance your workflow that way, good place to start. I know they get a lot of hate, but that's my 2 cents. Anyway, here's these electric guitars. Let's show y'all this interestingness. No EQs on the individual tracks. Pretty noisy. Did some noise correction because they're not so forward. Takes away a little bit of character, but those swells are sort of what we were looking for, right? Now check this out. I'll bypass this EQ. These are the Pultecs. So we go to this big swell here. That's without them. And here's like a 12K boost with the Pultec EQs. Again, without. And with. It needed, I don't know if you guys can see this, but it's about an 8 dB boost with not much attenuation on the high end. And I really am just cranking it just because that's that range on electric guitar that doesn't always get captured by a mic super well, especially as we were flying. And I just liked what we did with the take. You can kind of go extreme on an EQ sometimes. I think Chris Lord Alge said it that way, is like, well, the knob wouldn't be there if it wasn't supposed to go all the way up. So, well, that solved the problem. I didn't feel a need to track another electric guitar just because, if you've accomplished what you wanted to accomplish and it's working, don't overthink it. So in context. So obviously that's one of the sort of climax. Oh, we'll get to those delays in a second. Those are on the harmonies, and that is a little obnoxious right now, out of context. I'll mute it. That's Crystallizer by Sound Toys. For fear of getting off track, let me just play this guitar one more time through, just without that EQ, so you can see that how it's kind of buried. Yeah, not so subtle. There it is. There's that Crystallizer again. All right, good transition point. We'll do the lead vocal last. Let's go into these harmonies. This is what they look like. Just a few minutes of harmonies with Meredith. I mean, she's a just fantastic singer, guys. She really, really did an excellent job on all of this stuff. And as you can see, I haven't put my final little editing touches here, but we're all very close on this mix. This is pretty much the end of it, and why I wanted to do this breakdown, just because it was a lot of fun. Let's solo these harmonies for a second. This is where actually a lot of the movement in the song was created. The first harmony is just kind of a low. The next one, a little bit more. The big one. That obnoxious sort of ping-pongy echo there is that Crystallizer. It's a really, really, really fun plugin, guys, if you haven't seen one of these before. It's pretty much included in most of the Sound Toys bundles. Pretty easy to get a hold of. I like it on keys just to make keys sound grainy and weird, and like they're in a different space. They're great on harmonies to make the harmonies sound different, kind of swirl around. And really, I just kind of, I can't tell you how I landed on that. It was one of those moments of just, well, I know what the knobs sort of do, so we'll twist them around until we get this space that feels good in context. I love to preach mixing in context rather than soloing a lot of tracks, because you might miss out on some cool stuff if you don't push something pretty hard in context. You might be too scared to do that in solo because it sounds too weird. Well, in reality, sometimes weird is exactly what we need, or the perfect way to not over polish a solo track. I think another good example in this particular mix would be electric guitars. Just mix them as they were in the context, boost that crazy EQ. They sound fine by themselves, but when you hear it in context, you need that extra bit of just something there. Just drive it. Don't be scared to do that. You can always fix it later. The artist can always hate it and just send the mix back anyways. This one's getting wrapped up soon. Let's end with the lead vocal here, and I'll show you all what I'm doing.
Just said along with their reply.
And you're like, well, Michael, there's a ton of acoustic guitar bleed in there. How did that happen? Well, it's these scratch layers right here. Listen to just the lead vocal takes we got after the original recording session.
Just said along with their reply.
Nice doubled vocal, and that's what we were going for here. And we did decide to keep the scratch layers just because they added that just extra width. I'm not an enemy of mic bleed. I think that you can get, again, a lot of cool, weird stuff if you just pay attention to it in context. Listen to that same part again. I'm going to go adjust this compressor for y'all to sort of hear how it's grabbing her voice. I think it's pretty cool.
Can't help but overthink the words you said along with their reply. Was it nice for you? You'll be alright.
I hope you could hear how when you adjust the threshold and especially when you adjust the attack and release and especially the threshold, I mean, that just can really open up that center vocal. That's what I have that compressor running on. I've also got it running through an SPL de-esser and an SSL EQ. I particularly just love their bands. I don't know if you can see all of this. One day, if you guys want, just let me know what you guys want to see. I'll do a studio tour, maybe break down a little bit more of the analog gear I got going on here. But it's not too complicated. Please, if you've got questions, just shoot them in the comments. If you want more videos like this, let me know. Make sure to subscribe, do all that good stuff. And I look forward to making more of these and hearing from y'all. Let me know if you guys want to see anything in particular.